What's up guys, David Land here bringing you another Diecast review. This time we are taking a look at a Peugeot 908 HY. The HY of course stands for hybrid. This is not to be confused with the HDI FAP. Yes, they used that acronym in their car. No, which was the more successful car and won Le Mans for Peugeot in 2009. No. This is a hybrid version of the Peugeot 908, and it was never actually run in competition. It was tested once, just before the 2008 Silverstone 1,000 kilometers, but Peugeot decided to not run this car in the 2009 European Le Mans Series, rather to focus on their Le Mans efforts. And they decided correctly, because they ended up winning the 2009 24 Hours of Le Mans. I got that information from Wikipedia, so it may not be 100% right. I didn't know too terribly much about this car, but I did know that it was a hybrid car and that Peugeot was way ahead of the game because, of course, now all the LMP1s are hybrid electric racing cars. So it's pretty cool that they were so far ahead of the game. In terms of this diecast, I have a very hard time classifying this. It's produced by NoRev, which you guys may remember from a couple of my previous diecast reviews in the 1/18 scale. And I originally thought this car was a 1/64 scale diecast, but upon further review, I'm not so sure about that. And we're going to do a comparison of that when we get it out of its box, because I've already had it out of its box. It's one of those resealable packaging things, which is really nice for the collectors. So really nice diecast. I got it off of eBay. I won it in an auction for $1.50. Yes, $1.50. And if you guys know, these are kind of hard to come by, NoRevs in the United States, because I don't think they really distribute much in the United States, particularly these kind of smaller models or diecast or whatever you want to call them. I think they are kind of designed for kids, or at least with kids in mind, to play with them. But at the same time, they are highly sought after, especially these Le Mans prototypes. And as you can see, the original price sticker is on there, and whoever bought it in America, or whoever brought it to America, bought it for €2.50 somewhere. So yeah, really nice box art. I do appreciate the silver with the light blue and the white. Actually gives me a very Star Wars-y vibe, which is weird because this is the premiere, or tonight is the premiere of the Rogue One Star Wars story, which I'm going to. So yeah, perhaps this is a Star Wars themed review. But anyway, let's get this thing out of its box. Again, no tape or anything to worry about, though I have noticed the box is fairly finicky, and it did kind of come apart on the bottom there. So you have to be careful about that, but it's just a fairly simple extraction, and let's take a closer look at the Peugeot 908. So before we go further into this review, I do need to give you a sense of the scale of this car. Hopefully this does it fairly well. Okay, so I've got another LMP1 1/64 scale diecast. This is the Toyota TS030, produced by Spark, and you may notice a big difference, and that is that the Peugeot is much bigger than the Toyota. And just to prove that it's not the camera lying, there they are head on. You can tell the Peugeot is wider. It's it's about the same height, but it is definitely longer and wider than the Toyota. And I think in real life the Toyota is actually a bit bulkier in terms of an LMP1 car. I think they made the rules so that they would be more bulkier, obviously the dorsal fin and things like that, and boxy side pods like Racing Nation TV doesn't like. But yeah, so this is clearly a much bigger car, and if you don't have a Toyota TS030 around to compare it to, here's some other things that you may be interested in. This is actually the closest size comparison, or the closest thing I found in 1/64 scale that compares to it, and it's the IndyCar diecast, the Chevrolet Aero Kit. I think it's more because the Chevy Aero Kit is fairly long and gangly, but again, you look at the scale, and an Indy car, especially now with all the bodywork they have on them, they would be just about the same size as an LMP1 car. So again, the scale, not quite right. Again, let's go in with a car that I'm pretty sure is an almost perfect 1/64 scale, the Alex Zanardi Reynard I also reviewed earlier. Again, look how much smaller a car that's a racing car in what I would consider perfect 1/64 scale to the Peugeot. And then one more thing, just for the people who are probably regulars on my channel, next to a NASCAR stock car. Again, these are known for being some of the largest, biggest race cars out there, and even it is dwarfed by the Peugeot 908. So I would think this car is more in the 1/60th scale, or rather than the 1/64. Actually, no, it would be like 1/50th or 1/55 scale. So it's not quite 1/64 scale, but it would fit in with your collection if you do have a 1/64 scale collection. But let's talk about this because I do think it is a fantastic model of the car, regardless of scale issues with other diecast lines. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I think they got the details all so very right. The materials they actually used on it, it's kind of what you would expect. It rolls good too. It's a metal body, plastic chassis, plastic wing on the rear, but the plastic parts feel very sturdy. Also plastic tires, I should mention, but there is a detail about the plastic tires that you may already see that are very nice. But yeah, the plastic feels very strong. It does not feel very brittle. That's something that kind of a problem you run into with diecast, is that sometimes when they put plastics on for detailing bits, they do feel like they're going to fall off, or you may break them if you mess with them too much. The plastic bits on this feel very sturdy and very well put together. I do like this livery quite a bit. There's a lot more detail to go over about it, more than you would think. Obviously, again, it never raced, so essentially this is a show car or a test car. It did do laps, but it was not ever run in competition. It would have been interesting to see if this car had run in competition. In fact, Peugeot never actually used a hybrid in their LMP1 days. The final year they ran was 2011, and they were still using a diesel-powered V8. The next year they had developed a hybrid, but they did not run the 2012 World Endurance Championship. So enough with that. There you go, the hybrid logo, HY logo. You do get Michelin branding on the tires, which is a nice touch for 1/64 scale Le Mans cars. You don't see that a lot. Obviously, that was one of my big complaints with the Spark models, or the Spark 1/64s. You get the Peugeot HY. Of course, this car is, I think it's supposed to be chrome. Obviously, it's hard to do a chrome die-cast that's convincing. So it's really more very shiny silver, but I think it looks really nice. Look at that HY logo or hybrid logo with the electricity going all over it. I think it's a really nice looking livery. I really do wish it had run in competition, because I think it's a very unique looking car. Maybe a little bit on the nose, I guess, if you're talking about, oh, this car has an electric motor in it. I think this car ran on a KERS system. I think that was how the electric or the car could be considered a hybrid, similar to what Formula One currently uses, actually, where there would be energy recovery, and it would store up the energy in the car, and then on the straightaways the energy would kick in. Look how mean that looks from the front. I think of course this is maybe a little bit of a bias coming through here, but this was kind of the era of sports car racing I fell in love with, and I think the design of these cars, the 908, the Peugeot 908, the Porsche RS Spyder, the Lola Aston Martin, and the Acura ARX. I think those cars were just so cool, and just such great designs, such beautiful race cars, that it hooked me into sports car racing pretty much for life. And I'm actually kind of excited for IMSA this year, because they actually look like they're kind of getting back to kind of what this used to be. But yeah, really cool diecast. If you can, I would definitely suggest picking up some of these NoRev cars. Obviously, I think NoRev is a French company, so they did I think they did pretty much every version of the 908 you can think of, minus the 2011 version with the fin. But aside from that, I think you can get it pretty much in every color. Obviously, some cars are more rare than others, and they don't come up as much, and you may have to pay customs or whatever. You have to get cars shipped from Europe to your house, or in my case, get very lucky and buy a car for $1.50 on eBay and buy it from Illinois. But it was really, I'm really happy to have this car. Obviously, the make prototypes great again movement is in full force, and I'm loving collecting these cars. It's a lot of fun. So if you do enjoy diecast reviews like this, be sure to hit the like button. Also subscribe for more. I've got a lot of racing content coming down the pipeline, and it is kind of nice to break up a little bit of the NASCAR monotony that's been going on the channel recently. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.